Hello.
Hello. Shruti Priya ma'am.
Kalpana ma'am. నా వాయిస్ వినిపిస్తుందా?
Ma'am చెప్పండి మేడం.
నా వాయిస్ వినిపిస్తుందా అని అడుగుతున్నా.
Ma'am, am I audible? Hello ma'am. వినిపిస్తుందా?
శోభా మ్యామ్.
Yeah, ma'am. Good morning, all.
Good morning. Madam, is the voice clear? Like we have to check before we start.
Ma'am, once check the YouTube link.
I'm getting resound.
Okay, from me?
Yes.
Okay. Now is it better?
Yeah.
Okay. Shobha ma'am, one more thing. Shall we ask sir to join?
Yes, ma'am.
Shobha ma'am. Hello.
Yes, Kalpana, ma'am.
ఇంకా ప్రిన్సిపల్ మ్యామ్ జెడ్సిఓ మ్యామ్ జాయిన్ అవ్వలేదు కదా మ్యామ్.
I called.
చాలా మంది వస్తున్నారు.
I called madam to join.
వాళ్ళు జాయిన్ అయ్యాక సార్ కి ఇన్ఫార్మ్ చేసి
Will inform sir now only.
No, sir has already joined.
Hi everyone, good morning. Manu here. I have joined.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Welcome, sir.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you.
Prasanna ma'am, it seems Bindu ma'am is unable to enter.
Hi, Jyoti Priya ma'am. Good morning.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Hi,
Good morning,
good
sir.
morning.
Sir, is there a complete lockdown in Kerala?
Lockdown is not declared, but it is as good as lockdown. Situation is bad, and people are asked not to go out. Every district is a confinement zone, so a containment zone. I don't know what is the difference between a containment zone everywhere and a lockdown. It is as good as a lockdown, but they are not calling it a lockdown.
I
That's the
see.
only difference. How is it there in Telangana? I know that things are bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot restricted now, but
Mhm.
still people are roaming freely. And
Hmm.
but the cases are increasing day by day. And in
Lot of
every home,
bad
we
news
see
every day.
that there is someone who is ill or someone who is admitted to hospital. So the situation is really bad.
Mhm.
Good morning,
Good morning, ma.
madam. Had your breakfast?
Yes, ma. What about you?
Yes, ma'am.
Did all of you have your breakfast?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
If somebody says good morning, if somebody says no, will breakfast be provided here online?
Good morning, madam.
Oh, yes,
Good morning,
I
madam.
think through this webinar, I think it will
Okay.
satiate their hunger.
Yeah, online food will be served.
Yes.
So our lunch will be online, I guess.
So first breakfast,
Yeah.
and then lunch. Right. Shobharani ma'am, did Bindu ma'am join?
No, ma'am, waiting in the lobby.
Oh, I don't know why ma'am is having this problem.
And Rajni ma'am also waiting in the lobby.
What about Zetsio ma'am?
That's what. She's also waiting. Already 100 participants it is showing it since.
But here we don't have to the full capacity, right?
Here it shows 83 participants.
Yeah, I mean, it's not full yet.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good
morning. Good morning, madam.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for being with us today here,
Oh, it's my
for giving
pleasure, ma'am.
time.
Thank you. Thank
Mm.
you.
Shubha madam.
Ma'am, waiting for Zetsiva ma'am.
Ma'am, madam is busy with some writing. It seems she's not going to come. She said she conveyed her, like she's not, she doesn't have time today. She told me. Okay, ma. Well, shall we start the program then?
Ma'am, actually, she's waiting in the lobby. It seems I called just now. I called her. Once again, I'll confirm, madam.
Oh no,
Yes.
just now 5-10 minutes back I called her.
No,
She
ma'am.
called back. She said she was busy.
1-2 minutes back, I have called her, ma'am.
Okay, right,
I'll
ma'am. Right.
confirm. 1 minute.
Okay, confirm this. Start this.
Ma'am, actually, ma'am is waiting in the lobby. She's not getting let in. Shall I start, ma'am?
You will just inform once to Lakshmi Prasanna. She'll let her in. Then we can start. Already it's past 11. No, we'll start.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, one and all. I am Shobha Rani, lecturer in English, TSWRDCW, Jagadgiri Gupta, would like to welcome you all for today's national webinar on Introduction to Research and Publication. This webinar is extremely useful to all students and teachers who are passionate to do research. This webinar will introduce you to the fundamentals of research, what is research, and how to do research, do's and don'ts of research, and also introduce you on how to publish the research article. So I warmly welcome today's eminent speaker, Professor Manu Manguttu, Professor of English, poet, orator, who is going to enlighten us on research and publication. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. Now I invite our senior-most faculty, who has more than 25 years of teaching experience in T. Swearis Institution. And she is none other than our beloved principal, ma'am, A. Himabindu, ma'am. Now we request you to address the gathering.
Thank you, Shobha ma'am. Once again, good morning and warm welcome to everyone, the staff, students, and moreover, our esteemed guest of the of today, Manu Mangattu sir. I'm very much happy, sir, that you could make us some time to come to come to our webinar. And Manu Mangattu sir, I've been hearing about you, sir, from Jyoti Priya and everyone, that you are a multifaceted personality, and also you've worn many hats. And today's topic is a much needed one, sir, like introduction to research and publication, because our students are being they're being prepared to write, take up projects and write papers on their own, and staff also, they need such an introduction to that topic, which is very much the topic of the day, and I'm very much obliged to you, sirs, for accepting our request and also to kindly being a gracious person to host to be the speaker of the day. Thank you very much once again, sir. Now,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Now I welcome our Honorable Zonal Coordinator of South, Dr. P. Rajni, ma'am, who always
Sure, ma'am.
encourages us to do various activities which are going to benefit our students. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being with us. And I request you to address the gathering.
Yeah,
Good
thank
morning,
you.
madam.
Thank you, Shobha Rani. Thank you
Good
very much.
morning, Zetsu, madam.
Can you hear my voice, all of you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah, that's
Good
Yes,
morning,
ma'am.
ma'am.
yeah. Yeah, today, good morning, everyone, all the
Good morning.
students,
Thank you,
the
ma'am.
Good morning,
principal,
madam.
staff, and the resource person, Mr. Manu Mantu garu, Mangatu garu. Very good morning, all of you. And I think I am privileged to speak today on this occasion. I congratulate mainly the Department of English, Sudha Rani, and then
Shobha Rani.
Sandhya Rani. So
Shobha
Rani,
Shobha
I'm
Rani.
sorry, I'm very sorry. Shobha Rani and Jyoti Priya, especially for selecting such a good topic, Introduction to Research and Publication. And I also congratulate the principal, Hima Bindu Garu, for encouraging them and then inspiring them to conduct such type of webinars from the college. And I welcome today's resource person, Manu Mangatu Garu, to this session. And I feel privileged to talk about him, where I have seen his biodata, where he is a multitasker, I believe. He is a poet, author, critic, and translator, and a chief editor of an international journal. Really, I think students must get inspiration from looking at his biodata itself. So I think everybody will be enjoying his lecture. And thank you very much, sir, for taking out your time and spending with our prepared to spend with our students. It will be a great honor for us if you continue to be in contact with our society, our teachers, and the students in future also. So and the topic is very apt: Introduction to Research and Publication, where in social welfare colleges we are changing the education system. It is not a stereotype. We are trying our best to change the education system where practical orientation is also being given to the students, and in parallel to the academics we are taking up research also. Research in the sense it is not a very research international journal level research, but we are taking up student projects as well as the teacher projects. Small, whatever is possible to them, whatever they can visualize, whatever they can observe, the things, it may be a minor or a major thing, we are asking them to put it in practice and then write in the form of a paper. So we are making them to experience the writing and the journal writing also. So therefore, we are initiating in this way, and I hope your lecture will help our students a lot in taking up of our assignments, whatever we are telling. Your lecture would show them a path to be success in that area. And I wish all the students good luck. And then I request them to listen to the lecture and then learn the things, whatever is said. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Shubha.
Thank you, ma'am, for your motivational words. We are always inspired by you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now I invite Dr. A.R. Jyoti Priya, ma'am, to introduce our eminent speaker, Professor Manu Mangatu.
Thank you, Shobha Rani, ma'am. Good morning, all teachers and lecturers. Today, I'm extremely happy to invite our speaker, Manu Mangatu, sir. He's one of a kind person, both as a professional and as a humanitarian. So to begin with, Manu Mangata sir is an English professor and has donned several hats. He's a poet, he's a polyglot, publishing expert, orator, researcher, research consultant, and a translator. He has published 9 books, 92 research articles, and 36 conference papers, which is still ongoing, apart from 14 edited volumes with ISBN. He was awarded UGC funded projects and a Swayam MOOC course worth rupees 15 lakhs. Besides translations from Chinese and Sanskrit, he writes poetry in English as well as in other Indian languages. He was named Comrade to Poetry China in 2016. A visiting faculty at several universities and a quite essential bohemian vagabond, he conducts poetry reading sessions, workshops, and lectures when inspired. Currently, he guides 23 research scholars and mentors net English aspirants. And I would also like to add that Sir is an extraordinary humanitarian who helps and supports students from all walks of life who are in need of his guidance and help. Now, I would like to request Manu sir to take over the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. It was very nice listening to you all. And the most frequently asked question, am I audible and visible? I guess I am. So I would this is a wonderful opportunity and a great pleasure for me to be here, because this society, Telangana Social Welfare Residential Group of Institutions, and the kind of things that these people are undertaking, I have been a huge admirer of this system. And I came across this system maybe a few years, 3 or 4 years ago. And ever since, I have been closely monitoring what is happening there. And I have always had the greatest admiration, especially for the student-oriented initiatives that this management and this group of institutions have come up with. So it's a big thing. And I would like to thank the chief patron, Dr. Praveen IPS sir, then Dr. Praveen Mamidala sir, Chief Advisor Rajni ma'am, who was very sweet with her words and very succinct and very, she put everything in the correct place. It was very nice listening to her. And our dear principal Himabindu ma'am, she was also very. I could see from her eyes the feeling that she has that our students should do well, and she was telling about the projects that the students are asked to undertake and how she wants this lecture, this webinar to prove beneficial to the students. And I understand that this is quite a task for me, because I have to do justice to these expectations, and I will try my best. So I would like to thank all these people, especially these eminent people, the organizers of this event, for extending me such a warm welcome to speak at this webinar. As I was saying, ever since I came to know about this initiative called Telangana Social Welfare Group of Institutions and their colleges and whatever they are doing, I have honestly felt a lot of admiration, a lot of respect for everyone behind this idea of residential institutions, where students get the best quality education, where teachers stay with students and teach. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I have traveled different parts of the world and visited different educational systems, but I have to say that I have never seen such a brilliant idea, not just the idea, a brilliant idea being effectively put to practice. This is something unprecedented. And I take this opportunity to express my reverence and adulation to you all who are the students, the teachers, the administrators, everyone who is part of this system. Now coming to our topic for the day, we will be discussing research and publication, and our topic is introduction to research and publication. That word is the toughest word in the title actually. How to introduce research and publication. We can do a lot, we can say a lot of things about research, we can say a lot of things about publication, but how to introduce research? It may be very easy, it may sound very easy, but it is a very difficult thing to introduce. And my dear students from this wonderful college, let me tell you, I won't tell you a lot of theoretical things. I will not be using a PPT, so you can just look at me and listen to what I'm saying. And I will only be telling you practical things, things that you can do, and things that I believe will help you, carry out these research projects and carve a niche for yourself in the research arena. Become a better researcher, become a better student. That is what we all are striving to do. And I hope that we will be able to do something in that direction during this webinar. So without much recourse, without taking a lot of interest in the definitions, I don't want to give you a lot of definitions. We can say so many definitions, we can give a lot of definitions about research. It is defined as the creation of knowledge and use of existing knowledge in a new and a creative way to generate new concepts. A lot of definitions are out there, but what actually is research? We find that we have heard about research, we have seen researchers in our college, we have researchers, we have our teachers who themselves are researchers, and we see, usually we associate research with a laboratory, with experiments, and we think that researchers are very boring people who read a lot of books and who don't have any practical knowledge. Whatever be the general conception or misconception about research, let us try to see what it exactly is, or how we can understand research in a profitable way so that we can use this research. So when you look at this word research, we find two parts to the word, re and search. So what is the difference between searching and researching? And in Telugu, you will say Vetakandi and what is it? Parishodhana. Vetakandi and Parishodhana. Searching and researching. So what is the difference between these two? What is searching? What is searching? We search something, right? An act of finding something that has been lost, something that has been missing. For example, I may lose my pen. I may miss my pen. I may misplace my pen somewhere. I may misplace my mobile somewhere, and I will search for my pen, for my mobile to find. Our biggest search is perhaps the search for happiness. It is an abstract concept probably, but maybe something else that we search usually is food. The birds would search for insects, and we would search for food probably in the kitchen, right? When mom is sleeping, or when she is there in the kitchen as well, we will search the kitchen for some food. That is searching. We are searching. We will search all the dabbas there in the kitchen, and we will find some food. Now, when NASA, the scientific body NASA, when NASA sends a spaceship to Mars, it will have a purpose to search for water, for the presence of water on Mars, or to search for the presence of life on the red planet. So they send this spaceship, or just from the very basic search by a child for a toy to this spaceship that NASA sends to Mars, everything is just searching. We are searching for something. The levels don't matter, whether it is the search of a child or whether it is the search by NASA or some very international body. Searching is searching to find something that we don't know, to find something that we have lost, to find something that is missing. Now, what is research? We understand, we have learned a little bit of English somewhere, and we have heard a lot of words beginning with re. And we understand that when re is put at the beginning of a word, you call it suffixes, prefixes. So when re is put at the beginning of a word, it usually indicates a process that is repeated. So research. Research could mean searching again and again. Why? Maybe because we can't find, right? And you can search using your physical skills. You can search with your hands, you can search with your eyes, or you can search with your mental skills. You can use your intelligence and search something. So there are different ways of searching. Now, searching, I would say, is looking for something, while researching is looking into something. Searching is looking for something somewhere, and researching is looking into something. Maybe it is not very clear, right? Think of a beautiful golden ring that you have. Somebody put a beautiful ring on your finger, or your mother gifted you a beautiful golden ring. So you have your finger, you have your ring on your finger. Somehow in the dark, you lost your ring. What will you do? You lost your ring in the darkness. It is dark everywhere. There is no light. You lost your ring. It fell into the floor and it went somewhere. You searched, you couldn't find the ring. What will you do? We will light a lamp. The first thing that we will do is we will light a lamp. To find the ring that we lost, we will light a lamp. And then with the lamp, with the help of the lamp, using this lamp, we will find the ring. It will be somewhere under the cot or under the table or beneath the chair. Somewhere we will find our ring. Does it mean that the lamp discovered the ring? Who discovered the ring? Is it the lamp who discovered the ring? Or better still, is it the lamp who created the ring? No. We know it, right? It is not the lamp who created. It is not the lamp who discovered the ring. No, we discovered it. The ring was already there. The ring was already there. But the problem is to get that lost ring, to wear that beautiful ring, we needed the lamp. We needed the lamp. Research is the process of lighting this lamp. Research is the process of lighting the lamp to get the ring that we have lost. See, we light the lamp not to look at the lamp. This is a lamp. We have a lamp and we take the lamp and light it. Do we light the lamp to look at the beauty of the lamp, to see, oh my God, what a beautiful lamp? So will we sit looking at the lamp and enjoying its beauty? No, we will use it. We will use the lamp to search for our ring. Our ring exists, but it doesn't exist for us unless we light the lamp. In other words, it is because the lamp coexists with the ring that we are able to find the ring. The light of the lamp helps us find the ring. The ring is there. The lamp doesn't create the ring. The lamp doesn't discover the ring. We do it. But for discovering the ring, for finding out the ring, to complete our search, we need the help of this lamp. And research is simply the process of lighting this lamp to find the ring that we have lost. See, with search, with the help of search, we know about different types of search. We use Google search. Nowadays, instead of search, we use the word Google. To find out something, you just Google. We don't say search on the internet. We will simply say, you just Google it, right? So with search, you will be able to collect facts. But through research, you will be able to find out facts. So there is a difference. Searching helps us to collect facts, to bring facts together, while researching helps us to find out facts. Think about a key. You can search for a key to a door, a key to a box, whatever, a key. You can search for a key, searching, but researching helps you make that key. Researching is the art of making the key with which you can open your door, you can open your box to knowledge. That box consists of a lot of knowledge, and that box has knowledge, but to reach that knowledge, we have to open it. And who will create that key for us? With the help of research, we can open the box of knowledge. With the help of this key called research, we can open the door to vistas of knowledge. A lot of knowledge is available there. So there is a famous Russian saying. It says, the policeman searches and the scientist researches. There is the difference, right? The policeman searches, the researcher, the scientist researches. There is a difference. There is a difference between investigation, which is to find out something that already exists, and research, which is to find out something that probably doesn't exist. Searching is finding one thing somewhere, finding something somewhere, that is searching. Researching is an endless finding, endless process of finding, that is research. Now, what are the types of research out there? What are the types of research? We come across a lot of research, but basically, how can we classify research? We can speak about two types of research. This is not any theory, just simple things about research. When you think about research, you can think about two types of research. One is basic research, fundamental research, pure research. When you look, where you look into things to understand things. To understand something, you look into things. That is basic research. And the second one is applied research. So what is applied research? Applied research is using the knowledge that you have gained through your basic research, finding out something, or applying the knowledge you gained earlier to find out, to do something new, to produce something new. That is applied research. So simple, two types of research, basic research and applied research. And where can we begin research? Actually, generally we think that research starts when we are in the degree class, or in the when we are doing post-graduation, when we become a researcher, when we are doing PhD. That is when we start our research. No. We started doing research when we were born, because we started asking a lot of questions. And you know, the questions that we asked when we were small babies were tougher to answer than the questions that we ask now. Because we were innocent and ignorant when we were children, but our questions were very tough for our parents, for anybody to answer. We had some difficult questions. We had curiosity. Nowadays, we are not curious, probably, right? And maybe that is why we don't ask a lot of questions. So the beginning of all research happens when you start asking questions. Not to anyone. You can ask yourself. You can ask yourself, why am I like this? Why do I look like this? Why do I speak like this? Why does this look like this? Anything. We can have numerous doubts about numerous things. Why is it like that? An apple fell on the head of somebody while he was sitting beneath an apple tree, and he discovered gravity. If that apple had fallen on our heads, we would have probably eaten that apple, or we would have done something else, right? But he thought, why is the apple not going upwards? And that is where research started, and that is where gravity and you know, until Newton discovered gravity, was there no gravity at all? So were everybody flying around? No, gravity was there. Newton discovered gravity. He theorized gravity. He did research on it because he had questions. So what are the questions we should be asking? What are the questions? What are the right questions to ask when we are doing research? I would say ask the simple questions. See, we know about the WH questions, right? What, when, where, why. And then there are questions like how. Ask these simple questions. You can ask ekkada, enduku, emiti, eppudu. Ask these questions. Ask these questions, and you are into research. You have started doing your research. So the first question, what? What do we research on? What do we research on? Our teachers are telling us, our management is telling us that we should take up research projects. Students are asked to take up research. So about what can we do research? There should be a subject. Without doubt, there should be a subject. Now, how should we select our subject? Choosing a research subject is very interesting. Yeah, you will say it is very boring, it is very tragic, it is very difficult. I agree, it is very difficult, but part of the difficulty happens because we don't know what to ask and how to ask that question. So first thing I would tell you is, when you are thinking about research, choose a research subject that you are interested in. Choose a subject that you are fascinated in. Anything that interests you, anything, it could be anything. Never think that, okay, what I think, oh my God, I was thinking about this. I was thinking about why I was having those terrible dreams. Can I research on terrible dreams? No. That is, if I say that in the class, teachers will say I am foolish. Somebody will say I'm mad. No, nothing like that. Whatever you are interested in, that should be your area of research. If we initially we were saying we will be given lunch online, right? And we were like joking. We were thinking that lunch cannot be served online. For example, now it is 11:30. Suppose I continue speaking until 12:30, 1:30, and everybody is hungry. Everybody is hungry. Most of you, because you are safe at your homes, you will be eating something from your kitchen. But if we can serve food online, just as you can see me online, just as you can hear me online, if I can give you cups of coffee, or if I can give you a very good biryani, won't that be good? So now we don't have such a provision. Now there is no such provision where we can provide food online. But why not food be served online? So let us think about it, and we can research about it. See, 120 years ago, some foolish people thought that we can fly. Then everybody laughed at them. But they showed the world how aeroplanes can be made and how we can fly. Some other time, people believed that, some foolish people thought that we can live underwater. It was very foolish. But now we have devices with which we can live underwater. Some foolish people thought that we can see people living hundreds and hundreds of kilometers away. And those people asked those questions, ekkada, enduku, emiti, eppudu, and what happened? There came the internet. So think about it. How can we serve biryani online when we are having a lecture like this? Won't that be beautiful? Won't that be very sweet? Won't that be very spicy? So think about it. Think about the possibility. So choose any topic. Choose any topic that you are interested in. There is no topic that cannot be chosen for your subject as your subject of study. It is like choosing a partner in your life. You will not choose somebody whom your friend likes. You will choose somebody whom you like. So choose a subject that you like. And remember, deciding a topic is not the beginning of research. It is research. It is research. And when you decide your topic, you have done half of your research. Let me tell you, most people think that, oh, I haven't, oh my God, all my friends have got topics for research projects and they have submitted the topics. I don't have a topic yet. Oh, I'm last. No, don't worry. You are doing the research. If you are searching, if you are researching, if you are searching again, if you are thinking about it, you are doing research. So don't worry, researching, half of the research is done when you have chosen your topic. It provides the chance for you to learn new things, right? How biryani can be served online. If we think about it, we will learn a lot of things Maybe about biryani. Maybe we will research a lot about biryani, and then about serving biryani, how biryani can be served. But then how biryani can be served just as we, for example, we attach a picture as an if I want to make a PowerPoint presentation, I can show this on the screen and you all will be able to see. Likewise, why can't I send a biryani that you will be able to touch? Why can't I give you an ice cream that you will be able to taste? That should be also possible. That should be possible. So everything is possible. Research is all about discovering, learning, sharing. It's an amazing job. My dear friends, now we are thinking that research is boring, but let me tell you, a life in research is ultimately rewarding because people give you money, people give you everything. They give you a job, they give you money for learning new things, for discovering things that you are interested in. Right? What better thing there can be in life? You want to learn about something, you want to learn how biryani can be served online, and to study, and for studying that, the government is providing you money, the government is providing you a job. What better thing than that in life? So this is what research does. So that is the what of research. Anything, the answer to what is anything that you are interested in. That is the what of research. And then the second question, where to start my research? Where should I start my research? Go nowhere. Start your research from your own thoughts, whatever you are thinking. Maybe when you are walking home, maybe when you are about to sleep, you will have some thoughts, you will have some doubts. That is the beginning of research. Those doubts, those thoughts, that is where to start. Develop it, read about what other people have said about these doubts, these thoughts, and then you have started doing your research. And then there are other ways to begin your research. If you want to know more, go to Wikipedia. Go to Wikipedia, the internet, and on the internet we have Wikipedia, which is, people don't usually say that you should use Wikipedia for research. No, I'm not saying Wikipedia should be used for research, but Wikipedia can be a very good thing when we are speaking about introduction to research. It is a great place to start your research. Spend some time searching for the keywords. So we are thinking about how biryani can be served online. So search for biryani, search for internet, search for serving biryani on the internet. Maybe somebody has written some article on it. Who knows? Somebody in some part of the world is doing a research on it already. Maybe, we do not know. Maybe somebody is doing that research. So we can contact them and we can tell them our ideas and they will share us their ideas. And maybe there will be some idea somewhere where we will be able to share the biryani. That is it. So where to start? Wherever you are comfortable, wherever you are interested, your own thoughts, your doubts, use the Wikipedia, and then use the library. My dearest friends, let me tell you, use the library, use books. Without reading and learning, we are not going to achieve anything. It is impossible. Just by thinking that I will sit here and think and think and think, like Buddha, like somebody, I will just think and discover things. No. We have to learn. We have to read. We have to read as much as we can. So go to the library, visit the library. Now, due to lockdown, we may not be able to do that. But when you are able to visit the library, it is our place. It is where to start our research. The Wikipedia, your thoughts, your brain, and the library. These are the places where you can start your research. Then, another WH question, why? Why do we do research? Why do we do research? Why? Why should we do research? We do research because we have questions. We do research because we have questions that need answers. Maybe there is a chance that somebody else has found answers to those questions, Very good. We can know that answers and finished. But there is also a chance that nobody has found answers to our questions. That is when you have a research gap. That is when you have a chance to pursue your own research, because nobody else has found answers to your questions. So why do we do research? To find answers to the questions that we have, which nobody else in this world has answered. So we have so many questions like that, very silly questions, very foolish questions. But 100 years later, some people will say that that person, that Saumya Pamula, she was having a foolish thought. Vaishnavi Nagavalli, she was having a foolish thought one fine morning, and then she began thinking about it. And then what happened? She discovered this thing. J. Jnanashri, she discovered this thing because of a foolish thought. Then world will say we are geniuses, we are intellectuals. Now people will say we are mad when we have questions that don't have answers. But my dear friends, why do we do research? To find answers to those questions, because there should be something. The answers sometimes may not exist in front of us. It is like the ring that we have lost. I lost the ring in my room. It is darkness. I cannot see the ring, but the ring is still there somewhere, right? It is just that you need the lamp. You need to light the lamp to see the ring. So find out those answers, and that is why we do research. And sometimes certain questions don't have answers. For example, why am I living? What is the meaning of life? What is life? These are questions that so many people have thought and thought and thought and thought and thought, and finally they died. They couldn't find any answer probably. Still people are asking these questions. What is the key to happiness? What is the biggest thing that man needs? We can have different answers, but we may not have a finite answer. But there is a beauty in asking questions itself. It's not always about finding answers. Asking questions is also a very interesting activity. And then another question, how to find what to do research on? How will we find whether we can do research on such and such a topic? How to find what to do research on? What if it is already done or understood? I may not know. For example, I want to find out why something. I want to find out how to on this Zoom meet. I want to know how I can enlarge my photo, enlarge my screen on Zoom. I don't know, because I am not an expert in computers. I am not an expert in this software called Zoom. So I don't know how to increase the size of my picture or my video on this screen. But somebody else knows, right? Somebody else knows the answer to it. So is that a research? Yeah, I will do my personal research. Maybe I will ask some of my friends who are experts in computer, or I will check the internet. I will search on the internet and find answers. And what I do is, when I search, when I ask others, I am checking whether the answers to these questions already exist. And if they exist, my research will reach its goal, which is the answer. And somebody else has already done that research. And that person will tell you, okay, Manu, don't worry, to increase the size of your video, you just have to click here and click here and click here. Then your video size will increase. Okay, I understood. But if nobody knows, that is when there is a chance for me to pursue my research on how to increase the size of a video on Zoom. So what if it is already known? What if it is already understood? How to know? Ask, inquire, explore. What if we didn't know something, but it is already there? My dear friends, it is not wasted. Even if somebody has found out something before us. Oh my God, I wanted to find this thing out. but some idiot found it out some 100 years ago, and so I will not get the credit of this discovery because somebody else found this out earlier. What to do? Isaac Newton found out that things fall to the ground because there is gravity. I also discovered the same thing. It was not a apple. It was an orange, or it was a mango that fell on my head, and I also did the same thinking, and I also found out gravity. But then when I started thinking about publishing my findings, I realized that this bloody Albert Einstein, this bloody person called Isaac Newton had found out that there is something called gravity. What to do? My research is wasted. No, it is not like our research is wasted. It is, we are studying something, and whatever we study, let me tell you, my dear friends, it is never wasted. The time we spend learning is never wasted. The hours of literature reviews can lead us to gaps that our research can fill. We may have found out about the same gravity that Isaac Newton found out, but we may have reached the answer through some other means. And maybe there is a greater opportunity to find out something else we cannot say. So we will find out new research gaps. So it is very important to find out research gaps. Meanwhile, I haven't told you what research gap is, right? My dear friends, it is very important for us to, when we are doing research, we should have a research gap. What is a research gap? A research gap is something that is not found out by anyone before. Simply put, that is the idea. Nobody has answered that question. If there is a question in this particular area to which nobody has found an answer, then that is a research gap. So the time you spend reading about these things will help you find out things that nobody else has found out. That is also very important. And I would tell you, all of you, to carry a book with you. Carry an idea book. It can be a small diary. You can use your mobile phone. If you have a mobile phone, you can use it as your idea book. The idea is, whenever some foolish question comes up in your mind, we will think it is foolish, but just write it down. Whenever some foolish ideas come into your mind, just write it down. Maybe someday all these will make sense. Our foolishness can lead to something extraordinary in future. So when you are thinking about your topic for your project, you will have had thousands of topics for your projects if you had kept such a diary, such an idea book ever since you were a child, because you have already asked thousands of questions to which nobody has answers. In other words, you have thousands of research topics within you. So find out that when you are walking, when you are doing something, when you are praying, when you are playing, when you are eating something, when you are, taking bath, whatever, when you are sleeping, ideas can come any moment. Ideas will come like a lightning flash. So be ready with a book so that you can write it down. Even in the bathroom, even when you are taking a shower, it is good. It is good to have it, because that is when our brain is working very well. Our brain works well when we are doing something else, right? Not when we are focusing on something, but when we are doing something else. So make sure that you note these things down. Keep a small notebook with you. Talk and bounce ideas. You can talk with your mom. You have a doubt. Ask your mom. Your mom may not know anything about Zoom. She may have never used the computer, but ask her, Mama, why? How can I increase the size of a video on Zoom? Mama will not understand your question even. She doesn't even know what Zoom is, but in her answer, there could be ideas that can inspire you to new discoveries. So it is important to talk about your nonsense ideas to people, and ideas will emerge. And then there is a very academic way of getting new ideas, and that is to attend seminars, to attend conferences. There are a lot of seminars and conferences happening online. Talk with your teachers. You have this amazing opportunity where you are living with your teachers, right? In your residential institutions, you have the opportunity to be with your teachers. So when you have them like that, that is when you can ask these questions, ask them, see what they are doing, and then you will be inspired with a lot of ideas. And see, from these things, from teachers, from seminars, from books, we will get a lot of ideas, and these ideas can form the framework, the skeleton of our research. So what have we understood? Why should we do research? Why should we do research? I would like to define research as traveling in the jungle. When you travel in a forest, a jungle, a forest, you don't know which way to go. Nobody has gone to that forest before. Nobody has taken that path. And that is the fun of it, actually. Some people may get terrified. Oh my God, what will happen if some lion appears? What will happen if there are snakes in this forest? Some people will say, oh my God, what a wonderful opportunity for me, because there are no parents. Daddy, mummy, Veetil illai. Yeah, daddy, mummy is not here, and we can have all fun. So some people will think like that. So research is like traveling into the jungle. There aren't any rules. There aren't any paths, and you can carve a path for yourself. It is exciting. It is new. Nobody has been there before you. So you have everything favoring your path to success. So it's more like an addiction. Research goes beyond what we do in our classrooms. Sometimes our classroom lectures are boring. Classroom lessons are boring because we have to learn a lot of theory. We have to do this. We have to do assignments, a lot of boring stuff, and we don't know why we are studying it. We study mathematics and they say that there is like this, there is trigonometry, so there is like this, there is algebra. We don't know why we are studying these things. Everybody is asking about X. What is X? What is the value of X? As if nobody has seen X before. So sometimes we wonder what is the meaning of these questions that we have in our classes. But research is the place where you can have the freedom to pursue your free questions, your foolish questions. Rather than simply sitting in class and inactively absorbing information, in research, you get the opportunity, you are challenged to apply all the knowledge that you got in the classrooms to practical things. And unlike whatever happens in a classroom, there is a lot of freedom in research. We can do what we are interested in. We can do what we are passionate about. And it will help us grow as an individual. We will develop as a human being. We will become better human beings. And you don't get those sorts of experiences in a classroom. They say research is scientific. Everybody tells us research is scientific. And my friends who are from arts and social sciences, they will think, oh, it is very boring. Science is very tough. We came here taking art subjects because we didn't like the science. And now they are asking us to submit research project, and research is about science. Don't worry, science students, it is your area. It is your strength. So you can do. For art students, don't worry about the scientific nature of research, because let me tell you something. What is this science? It is about practice. It is about action. It is about movement. Most of us, I guess every one of us, love when the teachers allow us to go out. We will love to go and sit outside somewhere rather than sit inside the class. And research is actually this process of going out. You know, you can practice whatever you want. You can play. You can do whatever you want. You can experiment. You can do whatever you like. That is the freedom that research gives. Why? Because it is applicable. It is not about theory. It is about practice. And most of us don't like theory. Why? Because theory is tough. We have to by heart, we have to learn, we have to write imposition, lot of work. But research is applying those knowledge, and that is the fun part of whatever we learn, right? So enjoy that. And there is this great moment of discovery after years of thinking, after hours of thinking. Finally, when you find out something, there is a great joy. There was this great scientist who was bathing and he found out something and he jumped out nude and ran through the street crying out Eureka. Who was it? Some students would, science students would be able to help me. Who was that scientist who cried out Eureka and ran through the street? He found out that this much amount of water is replaced when something that much quantity is put into it, something like that. I'm not good at science. Some science students, if you are not sleeping, Aryabhatta, was it Aryabhatta? Did Aryabhatta
Archimedes.
Archimedes. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was Archimedes, the Archimedes principle, right? Yeah, so that is the fun. That is the fun there is when you find out something, the moment of discovery. And while you are speaking, when somebody told about Aryabhatta, discovery of zero. We think that zero has no value. Mathematics people, science people here will agree with me that zero has the greatest value probably. And the discovery of zero is a great thing in the history of human evolution. Discovery of zero. Human knowledge evolved a great deal when we discovered zero. Not even one. We discovered zero, and then there is a huge spike in human knowledge. There is a lot of happiness in finding out things, and the knowledge that I am the only one who knows this secret. Now I will tell everyone, but now I am the only person who has known this. That happiness is something that only research can provide you. Research makes you think differently by engaging you in the creation of new knowledge. You will start thinking differently. By doing research, definitely you will become a better person because you will realize that we don't know anything. The more we study, the more we do research, what we understand is we don't know anything. And that knowledge is perhaps the greatest knowledge. So it helps us change a lot. We will not be proud. When we start doing research, when we do a lot of research, we will stop being proud of ourselves because we learn that we don't know anything and we have nothing to be proud of. So there are these things happening. Research can change you. It can give you new traits, new characteristics. It can give a new discipline to your life. You can become more creative through research. It can mold you into a different person. And most interestingly, research is the future. We all are interested in knowing the future, right? We want to know what will happen 10 years later. What will happen? What will I be doing 10 years afterwards? So we are very interested in the future. My dear friends, research is the key, is the lens, is the microscope, is the telescope, not the microscope, is the telescope you can use to see the future, because research is about the future. It is exciting, isn't it, to be part of an adventure that will change the face of the future. What future will look like will depend on what we do. Our research or our lack of research will define the future. If we do good research, we will have a good future. Our future generations will have a good life. If we do bad research, we can also do bad research. We can do no research, we can also do bad research. We can find out weapons of mass destruction. We can do a lot of things, right? We know how Albert Einstein repented when the atom bomb was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Not all finding can be useful. See, discoveries are not bad in themselves. They are neutral. It depends on how man utilizes that knowledge to, for what purpose man uses it, right? It all depends on our power of choice. If we use it for good purposes, that is good. If we use it for bad purposes, it is bad. And in research, we will make mistakes. And making mistakes is one of the joys of research. There are so many things that have been accidentally discovered. My friends from sciences would definitely tell me that there are so many things that they discovered when they were doing something else. They were doing some experiment to find out something else, and then accidentally they found out something. So mistakes are fine. It is okay to make mistakes. It is okay to make mistakes. And we should have the attitude of Albert Einstein, when all his research lab and everything, all his findings were burnt down. He could still sit there and smile at it. That kind of happiness and that kind of detachment, but that kind of happiness is very beautiful. And this dumbness, this lack of attachment, but that childlike joy that we can find, that is the biggest gift that research can give you. It helps us ask right questions. It helps us a lot. And practically thinking, why should we publish our research? Our topic is about publishing research as well. So why should we publish our research? We have done some research. Now, why should we publish our research? One reason would be to get viewers, so that others can read what we have found out, what our research is all about, so that people can read what we have done. That is the simple idea behind publishing our research. One idea. Then the second idea is, when people read, they will give us feedback, and that feedback will help us improve. That feedback will help us improve our research. That feedback will help us correct our mistakes. So feedback, that is another reason why we should publish our research. We will get peer review from others who are more capable or as capable, or let us think, people who are very capable in that particular area. Suppose we are doing research on nanotechnology. Won't it be good to get our research paper reviewed by the greatest nanotechnologist in the world? It would be great, right? So that way, that peer review, that is one big advantage when you publish your research. And then another advantage of publishing research is, it will give opportunities to other researchers to work on what we have worked on. So to build, now we have created the first floor. It is a huge building. We have created the first floor, and then we are publishing it. We are giving it to others, and so that they can build on top of it. More and more floors can be built on top of the foundation that we have set. Foundation is always important. It is not like we are throwing away something. The story about Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda went to the UN to deliver the address, and some foreigners, some Westerners wanted to make fun of him. So what they did was, they stacked his books. There were a lot of books, and they told Swami Vivekananda, "See, Swami, what are you doing? What are you going to speak in this giant UN assembly? What is this, Swami? What is this? Shame on you. See, your book is under all the books. See, all these books are piled up above you. So your research, whatever study you have done, is outdated. Your book is at the bottom, and all the books are above your books, above your book." Swami Vivekananda did not reply. He just smiled, and he did one thing. He just pulled his book from under the stack of books. And then what happened? When you pull out one book from beneath, the whole stack will fall down. And the lesson was very clear. What was the lesson? See, it is from this framework that I have created that you have built your knowledge. So the framework, the strong foundation is very important. So this is one important thing about publishing our research. And then we are human beings. We publish our research for fame, for name, for our CV. See, before I started my lecture, I was introduced and they were saying I have published research papers, I have done this, I have done that. Why? We all love to pamper our egos, right? Okay, somebody is saying good things about us. So we want our CVs. And also, it is not just about pampering our ego. It is also for job. When you go for a job interview, you have to show your CV, show your resume, and they will see, okay, you have done research. Okay, when you are at TS Telangana Social Welfare College, you have done research on this topic and you got it published. Wow, very good. So that is a credit, that is an advantage in your CV for promotion, for interviews, to create a name for us, to create a life, to create a career, to make money. For all these things, publishing research is very important. It is not, I mean, I'm not saying that it is about materialistic things. Some people would say, no, I don't like publishing. I'm a very calm person. It's okay to be calm and it's okay to be a good person, but publish your research, give opportunities for others to, build on your research. So these are some of the general ideas as to why you should publish your research. And when you think about publishing research, when you think about writing your research paper, I want to tell you three things. I will not go into the details, but three things are very important. Three things are required for you to not only do research, but also to publish your research. The first thing, you need computer literacy, because without computers these days we can't do anything. We have to learn computer. We have to learn how to type. We have to learn how to search things from the internet. So computer literacy is very important. Secondly, language literacy, and most often it is English language. So because we have to, whatever we know, if we are not able to communicate that, it is wasted. So to write it, to communicate what we know, what we require is language literacy. We need good command over the written form of language. You know what, my dear students, the research papers that your teachers write, great researchers write, 70% of those research papers are rejected by reputed journals, not because of lack of quality in their research, but because of the poverty of language, lack of language quality. So language literacy is very important. We should learn how to write our ideas clearly. Computer literacy, language literacy. And the third thing is exactly what we are discussing today, research literacy. We should know how to do research. We should know how to start our research, how to go about our research, how to proceed, how to conclude, all these things. So research literacy. So these three literacies are very important. And since your principal was saying that you all have to do research projects, so I will give you a rough outline in a short span of time. I will give you a rough outline of how a research paper or a research article should look like. What are the things that should be there in a research paper? You are going to write a research paper. Imagine you are going to write a research paper. So what are the things that should be there? First, I'm speaking about it in the exact format in which it is written. So first, at the top of your research paper, you will need a title. Your research paper will require a title. And when you give title, make sure that the title is not very long, not very short, but it is something that communicates, a title that clearly communicates your idea to the audience. So we need a title. At the top of your paper, we need our title. Just below that, just below the title, we have to give the name and designation of the author, of authors. If more than one person is involved, we will write the name and designation of the author. So we will write the name Muhammad Farheen, and Chandana Guda, TSWRDC. Like that, we will write the name and designation of the authors. It is always advisable not to have so many authors, especially in humanities, arts and humanities subjects. It is preferable to have maximum 2 authors. In sciences, I understand that there is a habit of having multiple authors because the work involved requires more people to work together. Collaborative work is there. So in sciences, it is done, but in arts and humanities subjects, maximum 2 authors, preferably 1 author. That is what happens. So first we have the title. Below that, we have the name and designation of the author. Then below that, we need to give an abstract. What is an abstract? An abstract is the summary of what you have done, what is there in your full research paper. Call it a summary. In 200 or 250 or 300 words, you will write the summary of what you have done. So what are the things we can include in an abstract? You can provide a problem statement. That is, the simple idea is you should speak about what your research paper is all about. That should be there in the abstract. Then you should indicate the methodology you have used. How have you carried out your research? Maybe you have done interviews. Maybe you have interviewed a lot of people. Maybe you have done surveys, or you have only read books. Whatever you have done, that methodology should be properly indicated in the abstract. Then the third thing that should be there in the abstract is the main findings of your research. Whatever findings you have made, your findings, your inferences, those things you can mention in the abstract. And finally, the abstract should speak about the conclusion of our research paper. So these are the 4 parts of an abstract. I mean, I'm speaking it in very simple manner. So an abstract should have a problem statement where you say what your research is all about. Then you should briefly describe your methodology, how you have done your research. And then thirdly, you should speak about your main findings. And finally, you should have a conclusion. So this is the idea of an abstract. An abstract is usually very small. It will have 200 to 300 words maximum. And that is the abstract. It should be compact. We won't write any introduction to an abstract or anything. An abstract doesn't need any introduction. It should be very point by point. I mean, you are not bullet like writing. That is not the idea. But only precise ideas need to be mentioned in an abstract. And then fourth thing is, so first we have the title, then we have the name and designation of the authors, then we have the abstract. Below the abstract, it is always good to give a list of keywords. Keywords. What are keywords? Keywords, for example, you have done research on how to serve biryani through the internet. So some keywords for your research paper will be biryani, online biryani, computer for, using, internet for biryani. These are some of the keywords you can use, so that these are the labels. From these labels, people can understand what you are trying to say. Just by looking at those labels, people can understand what your paper is all about. And definitely, we will have some science behind it, right? How we transfer biryani to others through the computer. So for that, again, we will have a theory. That theory also will become a keyword. So the fourth thing is a list of 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 maximum keywords. Give the list of keywords. Then, now that much is done. And the fifth thing is to write your full paper, your research paper. That is the next thing. That is the biggest thing in your research. And that is the first thing that you will be doing. Everything else you will be doing later. But I'm just giving you the order in which things are written. So your full paper. So what are the things that should be there in your full paper? Your full paper should have an introduction. Introduction. See, we can say so many things in the introduction, but basically it is a broad category that we are establishing in our introduction. We will make generalizations. We will review earlier research, and we will say in the 20th century, research in science has focused largely on internet and how internet can be used to communicate information. Now, that is the introduction. Like that we are saying. So internet has been used to transfer data, transfer this, transfer files, transfer videos, audios, all these things we can transfer. So these things you have mentioned in your introduction. First thing, establishing a broad category. Then you have to narrow it down to your subcategory. That is the second part of your introduction, narrowing it to your subcategory. Now, what is our category? Our category is about using internet for serving biryani, using internet for serving biryani, or how to serve biryani through the internet. That is our subcategory. So come to that, speak about counter claims, indicate the research gap. So we can say research in the 20th century has largely ignored whether food can be served through the internet. Or however, so this much things have all been done by people. However, it remains unclear why researchers haven't thought about serving biryani through the internet, serving food through the internet. If we can serve so many other things, and if we have servers in the internet, we have servers. So why can't we use those servers to serve food? So it remains unclear why internet servers cannot be used to serve food as well. You know, that sort of a thing. So, or you can say existing research has failed to look at ways in which we can serve food through the internet. The second part of your introduction. And then the third part of your introduction should be presenting the purpose of your study. So what are you going to do? So it will have sentences like the present study aims to, the present study makes a foray into, in the present research, the researcher wants to look at ways in which food can be served using the internet. So this is our third part. What is this research paper all about? The purpose of the study. All those things we can mention in the third part of the introduction. So the first part of our full paper is the introduction, and I divided it into three parts. The broad category, the subcategory, and then the purpose of your research. Then the second part of your full paper is literature review. What is literature review? What is literature review? Literature review is simply a review of whatever has been done in this area before we started doing our research, whatever other people have done. So we can say that in the 21st century, the first person to speak about serving biryani through the internet was Mr. Manu Mangat. He spoke about it during a lecture he delivered at Telangana Social Welfare College. We will say those things, right? So that is literature review. And later, one of the participants in that lecture, namely Anvesh Vadepalli, he or she decided to do research on it, and she did something, and then she found out that food cannot be served using the internet because of certain limitations of the internet. So that is what this Anvesh did. And then B. Vani from Telangana Social Welfare College, she studied about other possibilities of serving food, and she looked at the ways in which food is actually served in restaurants and how this model can be applied to serving food on the internet. So that is also a part of our literature review. And then you are saying, however, these researchers have failed to notice something, whatever your finding is. And there you have your research gap. This is your literature review. So your literature review should show clearly why your research is important, or why there is the necessity for your research. So that is the next thing, literature review. Then we will have a methodology. So in quantitative research, in science researchers usually Methodology consists of the processes of data collection. How do you collect your data? What are the techniques you use to collect your data? How do you analyze your data? What is the theoretical framework that you use? So all these things you will speak about in quantitative research. And in qualitative research, the kind of research that we have usually in arts and humanities, there they will speak not a lot about data collection, but they will speak about how they have collected the books for study and what all theories they have applied and how that theory is applied in this particular context. So that will be the methodology in in qualitative research. So sentences like the data for this study were collected by interviewing various people who have served food at various biryani centers throughout Hyderabad, and from this data, this and this, we interviewed people who are serving food. We interviewed the cooks at famous biryani centers in Hyderabad, and all these things. So all these things you can mention in your methodology part, and then how you analyzed your data, all those things. The next part is the results. What is the result? What is the result of your, methodology? So you have found that from our interviews with the various cooks, we found that 60% of cooks say that biryani can be served online because biryani has something that is very common with, internet has something that is very common with restaurants, something like that. You have some finding based on their observations and this and that. So the results, you are systematically presenting the results based on, giving charts and graphs and things like that, results. And then just giving results will not be sufficient. The next part is also very important, interpreting the result or discussing the results you have gathered thus far. So this discussion part also requires an introduction, an evaluation, and a conclusion. So we can use sentences like, the findings of this study clearly show that the internet can be used as a medium to send biryani across people from different parts of the country. And we are saying that, then we will give some theoretical explanation. We will say one theoretical way of explaining this is, if the internet can be used to transfer data, to transfer things that can be seen and heard, why can't the internet be also used to transfer things that are tasted? That sort of things. And then there will be a conclusion. And then that is the conclusion to the discussion. And then we will have a final conclusion where we will conclude all the arguments, and we will not say anything new. We will conclude our arguments, and we will speak about the limitations of our study, what all things we missed, what are the possibilities for other researchers to explore. All these things we will mention, and then we will conclude our research paper. Thus, our research paper comes to an end. Finally, there is one more thing that we have to add at the end of your research paper: references. What all things have you referred? So that is also very important. You call it bibliography. Sometimes we call it works cited. I'm not going into the details because first we are just thinking about introduction to research, right? So we need the research references as well at the end, and we have to learn how to write the references, how it is ordered, all these things we have to learn. But that will come later as you complete your research processes. As we learn more, we will learn a lot more about these things. I also wanted to speak to you about the do's and don'ts regarding publishing and what are the things you have to take into consideration when you type and all. But I can easily see that we have already exceeded our time. It is 12:25, and 12:25 means I have spoken for about 1 hour 15 minutes, and 1 hour 15 minutes is sufficient for people to have a very good sleep. Now please wake up, and we will have a brief interactive session. Shall we have an interactive session? If you have some questions, or if you have some suggestions or some corrections or some clarifications, please do tell me. I will be interested to know your opinions and suggestions. So thank you for your patient listening. I am stopping. So the stage is open for interaction. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think you have so wonderfully struck the right chord with all our students and teachers. You have basically spoken about the fundamentals of research and how the students can start thinking about research. So hoping that all the students and teachers would have definitely benefited from this session and have gathered valuable points as to how they can start their research topic and how they can go about writing and publishing their articles in the future. So thank you so much for your valuable and a very informative session, sir. And now this platform is open for question and answer session. If anybody has any questions, they can unmute themselves and ask sir, or they can post their questions in the chat.
Ishrat Jahan ma'am, thank you so much for being wide awake. Very good. Thank you. Informative session. Thank you. You can speak up. No need to type the questions. You can even speak up if you can turn your audios on. And you can turn your videos on as well, because until now I was looking at icons. It is very boring not seeing people. So I would like to see some faces as well. Oh, I can see a masked face. Suma ma'am, thank you for turning the video on.
Any questions? Anyone? Shobha ma'am, any questions?
Yeah, sir. So, first of all, I would like to thank for wonderful session, sir. You have enlightened us how to write a research paper and how to do publication. At the same time, how to start, how to think from the basics, sir. Very useful to our students. And I want, sir, I have one question. Like, please suggest some topics for English research work, sir.
That is one very interesting question, in the sense that I get this question every day. I get this question from so many students, so many researchers. Please suggest some topics for research, some good topics for research. Or sometimes people will ask, sir, is this a good topic for research? Let me make it very clear. There is no need to suggest topics, because there are so many topics, and there is no topic which is good and there is no topic which is bad. Why? It all depends on how we do the research. Suppose we have an extraordinary topic and a wonderful topic, and if we do the research poorly, will that be good research? No. Similarly, if we have a very poor topic, but still if we do extraordinary research and if we carry out our research properly, then I am sure that that would be great research. So there is, first of all, understand this, my dear students, friends, please understand there is no topic which is good or bad in itself. Everything is good. Everything is good depending on how well you do it. If you do it well, if you carry out your research properly, that will be a good topic. Now, what are good topics for, was it for students from English or good topics for research in English? We can think of infinite number of topics. See, it is why I say infinite number of topics is simply think about the permutations and combinations. All of us are creative people. We all can create infinite number of topics which nobody has thought about before, because there are so many variables which nobody has thought about. For example, suppose somebody has done research on the impact of mother tongue in English learning for students from, let us say, the students from Maharashtra. Now, this topic is there. My question is, if we just change this topic, the impact of mother tongue on English learning for the students at TSWRTC, isn't it a new topic? It is a new topic. And can't you do a new research on it? You can do a new research on it. So I'm not saying you should make your topics like this, but there are infinite possibilities. We can change some variables here and there, and we will have infinite permutations and combinations possible as far as topics are concerned. I'm sure that the management would also encourage you to topics that are connected with your college, the way things are done at your institution, the syllabus that you are studying, the curriculum that you are following, all those things. So you can, English students can, any student, not just English, but any student can think about the advantages of, yeah, we have some music as well. The advantages of the present curriculum, or what is the impact of residential system on students learning. So that is one very important thing that you can look at, right? For example, in your college, students are learning, there is a residential system where teachers live with students. So think about it. How can learning poetry be improved in a residential setup? That is a topic that you can think about. Just think about it. How can learning poetry be enhanced, or how can students' vocabulary be enhanced in a residential setup? You can think about things like how different games can be organized, because in a residential school, residential institution, there are more possibilities. There are, of course, disadvantages, but there are, of course, advantages as well. So we can make use of those advantages and make topics. Right now, we are degree students and we are not thinking about big topics that are going to change the world upside down. The world will change upside down on its own. Now we see how the world is changing upside down without we doing anything at all. So don't worry about doing such extraordinary topics. I would say take a small topic and do it extraordinarily. Don't take extraordinary topics and do it ordinarily. Take ordinary topics and do research on it extraordinarily. And that is how we can have lot of topics. There are so many possibilities. You can look at the geographical features of where your college is located. Your college's place name is Jagadgiri Gutta. Okay, so that place will have certain features, and you can explore how those features of the land can help students in their learning, or can affect the learning of students. So a science student can look at how Jagadgiri Gutta's climate affect the learning of a student. Nothing is wrong, nothing is impossible. Oh, how can I say that how climate influences the learning of a student? Definitely climate will have an influence, right? Definitely climate will have an influence. Definitely the amount of pollution in the air will have an influence on how students can learn. Definitely all these things will have an influence on how teachers teach. If there is a lot of pollution, what will happen? Most of the times the teachers will be sneezing and the students will be wearing masks. And since it is Corona times, people will be running out of the class. So there are a lot of things that can happen. You know, these are not impossible topics or fun topics. These are topics that can be thought about. Just because it doesn't sound very extraordinary, it doesn't mean it is a bad topic. Think about those things: English, language learning related topics, English communication related topics, how we can improve the communication skills of students in Telangana Social Welfare College, or students are very good in classes, they attend the classes very well, but at the end of the class they don't interact well. What are the reasons for the lack of interaction on the part of students? We have a topic. Why students don't interact? Is it because they don't have the confidence, or is it because they don't think that they should be able, they don't have the, they have inhibitions? Is it because of inhibitions, or is it because they are not confident about their language skills? Lot of possibilities why people don't do certain things. So why people do certain things, why people don't do certain things, and then what these studies can do is we can provide solutions as well. We can, when we identify a problem, we will be able to locate solutions as well. We will be able to identify solutions as well. Maybe the person who identifies the problems may not be able to answer all questions, not necessary. Somebody else will answer those questions, but framing the questions in the right way is also important. So there are thousands and thousands of topics within you all. Look at the names that we have: Gangotri, Sushmita, Dasari, Suma, Yashaswini. We have lots of names. You can speak about how the students are named, or how students are called, or or the names that we give to our teachers. All these things can be researched. Why students give such names to teachers? What is it? What is the reason why students love to call teachers names that are different from their real names? Why do students do that? And there are thousands of topics. It can be in English, it can be in any subject. I don't know other science subjects, that is why I cannot tell you. But these demographic possibilities, how the population, how the climate condition affects people, all these things can be studied. And when we study it within a regional setting, within a limited framework of our college, our institution, our location, that will become a new study. Definitely that will become a new study, because nobody else has thought about it before, right?
Sir, good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Sir, I am Mamata from Jagadgirgutta. As you said, I have chosen one topic, sir. Just now you said poetry writing, enhance language skills of students. I had a idea, but that starting trouble, sir, as all the faculty or students have like that. Could you suggest me how to start that project or research? I have been giving some writing topics to students to write poems. I have collected some poems, sir. Sir, if you don't mind, please suggest.
No, I don't mind at all. I will share what I think. My ideas may not be correct, my ideas may not be great, but I will share my thoughts on it. It's a very good topic, how poetry writing can improve the language skills of students, right? That is the topic. How poetry writing can enhance the language skills of our students. Now, the problem that our researcher is facing is starting trouble. Naturally, it is very difficult to start not this research, but start writing the research paper. That is probably the biggest starting trouble. Not just starting research, but starting writing the research paper. That is one very simple thing that we suffer from. Everybody goes through this problem. It is not something new, and that is one thing we have to understand, and we have to be okay with. We all have starting troubles, and we all there are challenges, and that is what makes our studies and fruitful, right? So don't worry about that. Now, how can we go about this research? How to use poetry to improve the language skills of students? Research perspective. Quantitatively, if you are doing, you can give poems, you can ask students to write poetry, and you can look at the language skills of students. You can categorize. For example, you can ask students to write an article, and you can, from that article, you can make certain deductions, conclusions. Okay, this student has this much vocabulary, this student's grammar has this much problems, these are these problems, the student suffers from mother tongue influence. So you have found out certain things with the language of the students. After that, you give the students some lectures on poetry, how to write poetry. You encourage the students to write poetry in English, and students start writing poetry in English. And you collect all those poems they write and everything. You collect their feedback after each poem, what they feel, how they experience, what was the experience like. All these things you collect. And after that, you again ask them to write an article. And then what will happen? They will write an article. Now, again, you have to make deductions based on this article. What is the impact of mother tongue? How much, what is the language skill of the student? You know, we should have some criteria as to how we will judge, how we will evaluate the language skills of students. So have those criteria, and based on the criteria, before our experiment and after our experiment, we will evaluate the students, right? And then what will we do? We will compare the results. We will compare the results of the language skills of students after they started writing a lot of poetry and before they started writing poetry. And let us be honest about it. Let us not manipulate the data, do nothing wrong about it. Let us honestly find deductions. We will be able to find some differences. Sometimes maybe our hypothesis is, see, in this topic, the hypothesis, we are thinking, we are hoping that poetry writing will help students to improve their language. But maybe after this exercise, maybe we will find that based on our research findings, what has happened is the language of students has become worse. So that is our finding. There is nothing wrong if our hypothesis went wrong, no problem. Then we have to look, see that we shouldn't stop our research there. We have to then ask the question, why? Why has the language of students gone from bad to worse after they started writing poetry? Or you may have had a positive finding. You have found that, okay, after doing these exercises, after writing poetry, students' language has improved vastly or little bit, or certain portions of their language has improved. So we had different criteria. We looked at the vocabulary of students. We looked at the grammar component of students. We looked at the mother tongue influence of students. All these components we looked. And then you found out that other things don't have any much impact, but the vocabulary of students have improved. Maybe that is your finding. Then we have to ask the question again. We are asking the question, why? Why has the vocabulary of students improved? And then again, we are looking at the data that we have collected, and we find that, okay, many students have said that they started reading a lot of poems because they want to write good poetry. They wanted to read good poetry, and so they read a lot of poetry. And naturally, when you read a lot, your vocabulary will improve. So it may not necessarily be because they read poetry or it was poetry, but because it was poetry, it gave them an inspiration to read. So maybe that will be our finding, that will be our conclusion. So our initial hope, our hypothesis was writing poetry will help students improve their language, but our conclusion can be something like writing poetry helps students improve their language, but how? because students are inspired to read more, and thus their language improves. So this is one way in which we can do research. I mean, this one way, I mean, I'm speaking about quantitative research based on quantitative data and all. And then there is the qualitative method where you use qualitative techniques to do this research. There what we can do is you are looking at how poetry writing can improve, improve the language of people. Poetry writing can improve. So here you have to look at different, you have to do a lot of literature review. Different literature review, you can look at how different people have written poetry. Maybe you can take a particular poet. For example, you have taken Robert Frost and you are analyzing the poetry of Robert Frost. So what you are doing is you are looking at the language of Robert Frost before he started writing poetry and the language of Robert Frost after he wrote a lot of poetry. And this is one way in which you can do your research, or you can apply some theory. Some people, for example, behavioralism, or some people may have psychological reasons may have been put forward by people like Sigmund Freud. There could be so many theories. You can apply those theories into it, and you can say that because of this and this theoretical reasons, we can conclude that poetry writing can, if you are a science person, you can look at the neuroscientific aspects. You can look at the neuroscientific aspects and say, okay, when you look at when you do this MRI scanning of the brain, you find that when students write poetry, these parts of the brain gets illuminated, and then they will be able to produce language better. For example, we know that there are certain parts of the brain which are connected with language production, the Wernicke's area, Browning's. I mean, there are certain parts, I don't know. So those areas get stimulated when people write poetry. And we can say, so that is a clear indication that poetry writing helps people improve their language skills. So there are umpteen different ways in which you can go about doing your research. Now, the next question is, how will I begin? How will I overcome the difficulty in writing this thing down? Now, to write, the only way you can you overcome this difficulty or starting trouble is to write. Just write. Don't think about making it perfect at the beginning. Just write. Whatever comes to your mind, just note it down. Don't think about making it perfect, because this feeling that I should write it perfectly at the beginning is one of the biggest reasons for starting trouble. So forget being perfect. Write whatever comes to your mind in haphazard way, then you can slowly get it ordered. It is important to start writing. Only by start writing you can overcome this difficulty or the starting trouble in writing your project. I think I have answered the different parts of the question.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, I got an idea.
Sir, we have a question from Dr. Sandhya Deepthi and Dr. Padma from Nizamabad College.
Yeah, sure.
They have complimented your session by saying it is very impressive. The question is, how do we identify host institutions abroad for research fellowships? And how do we gather invitation letters from professors from these institutions? Will the professors be ready to send invitation letters even if they haven't known us personally? How do we approach them?
Okay. I got the question. So how can we get invitations, and how do we know about, was it about scholars, research fellowships and such opportunities? Very important thing as far as teachers are concerned, especially, but for researchers in general, it is very important to get fellowships, to get connected with professors from other universities, especially universities from outside the country, to get funding. For all these things, it is very important to have that connection. And how can we know about it? The worst part is we don't know how to know about these things, because where can we get this information? We just Google, we don't find anything. We will research fellowship opportunities. We will end up in so many fake websites saying so many fake things. We will not find anything genuine, because if there is one genuine website, there will be 100 fake websites. So that is unfortunately the situation. Now, the practical thing that I can suggest is, I don't know whether there is any theoretical way to do it, but the practical thing to do for us right now to know about opportunities is to have contacts. And how to develop these contacts. One important thing is to be connected with professional bodies, teachers groups, and we have to be aware of these what are the opportunities available. For example, FLTA, fellowship opportunities offered by Fulbright fellowship opportunities, FLTA. Recently there was I saw a brochure actually.
Nehru Fulbright Fellowship.
Yeah, Nehru Fulbright Scholarship. So there is something coming up on the 11th of this month or something. So one thing we can do is to attend these programs and get knowledge about these things. Another thing is to be connected with these teachers groups. That is very important. I think it is only through connections, establishing good connections with people who are like-minded, people who are interested, that we will get to know. Initially, if we don't have any academic contacts, it is going to be very tough. Even think about it, how you started presenting papers. Initially, it was very tough to even know about where we can present papers or where conferences are happening. But now we slowly have come to know where we can get these brochures, where we will get information about seminars and conferences. Similarly, the only way we can do this is by getting contacts, getting connected, getting linked with such teacher or researcher bodies, because that is where even this fellowship people who are giving these fellowships, they will put their brochure there, because they also want to advertise. Why do they want to advertise? Because they want the best people. To get the best people, they will definitely require their brochures to reach maximum number of people, because only then they will have the cream from this country representing India for these fellowship programs. So they will put up these notifications. So that is one way we can do that. And another thing is to know about these fellowship programs and go to their website. For example, Fulbright Scholarship is one such thing. And then there are many universities abroad which give scholarships and fellowships to researchers from India. So how will we know about it? The simple way is to go to their website. It is the trial and error method. Go to their website, check their website for fellowship opportunities. That is the right way also, the time consuming way, but the right way, because you will go to their particular website. You will not be misled by any agencies or intermediaries who will misguide you and take your money, and you will end up nowhere. So go to their websites and find out. And then one very good suggestion I can give is 2 places where you can know about these things, where you can get the question also was about how will the professors be ready to send invitation letters, how we can approach them, professors from different universities. Now here comes the importance of social networking sites. Which social networking sites? Not Facebook, not WhatsApp. I'm speaking about LinkedIn and ResearchGate. Use these, and academia.edu. These websites are very good. LinkedIn is a professional, social networking site where people from similar areas of interest can collaborate and connect and exchange ideas. A lot of, in our country, unfortunately, still LinkedIn, a lot of people use LinkedIn, but people use LinkedIn to post their photos even today. But things are changing and people are getting the idea that no, that is LinkedIn is not the place for me to post my photos. I can post it on Facebook and Instagram, but not on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn provides, you have to go to LinkedIn and there will be groups, search hashtag scholarships, and you will be able to find different scholarship opportunities, because when some university professor or some university puts out a brochure speaking about scholarship or fellowship opportunities, they will definitely tag and they will give these hashtags, hashtag scholarship, hashtag fellowship. So search for these hashtags on websites like LinkedIn. That is one very good way you can actually find opportunities that are currently there. And another thing is, LinkedIn is not used by a lot of fake people. Yeah, there are some fake people who use LinkedIn. As is the case with anything, there are fake people everywhere. But still, compared to something like Facebook or Instagram, LinkedIn is still not very much used by these people, these fake people. So there you can find, search using these hashtags, and you can find about fellowships and other things. And then the next thing is ResearchGate. I'm sure that you have heard about ResearchGate. I'm sure that all of you have accounts on ResearchGate. If you don't have, my dear teachers, my dear researchers, I don't think degree students can get a ResearchGate account right now, but postgraduate students or research scholars, teachers obviously must have a ResearchGate account. There is no question about it. Have an account on ResearchGate and connect with, when you create it is difficult to create an account on ResearchGate. You will need nominations, but if you have institutional email address, that is something that your institution can provide. What is an institutional email address? An email address with your name, dot something. That way, your institution, your librarian or your institution will be able to provide email address, and using that you can easily verify your account on ResearchGate. Even if you don't have institutional email address, there are provisions where you can get an account on ResearchGate using your Gmail address also. For that, you will need a nomination from a ResearchGate member, and then there are some procedures, but the only thing is you must have some proof to show that you have done some research, either some proof of research papers, some certificates of research papers, or your MPhil or PhD certificates. These things, if you have any such research credentials, you can provide that as proof, and with the help of that you can create account on ResearchGate. And then the thing is, why it is so tough? Because nobody who is not from somebody who is not from a research background will not have an account on ResearchGate. That is how ResearchGate keeps its website clean. So you will not find fake accounts on ResearchGate. There you can connect with some very good people, and people respond. Not like Indians, people abroad respond. When you write a letter to them, when you write a letter to people like, what was his name? 3 authors who wrote an English famous theory book, Griffith, Tiffin, what was it?
Yeah, Griffith. Right.
3%, the third person, he has an account on ResearchGate, and I wanted some research paper from him, and I requested him via ResearchGate, and you won't believe he replied within 10 minutes, and he asked me for my email address, and he sent me the research paper via email address. Doesn't mean I am great. I am nobody. I am just some researcher, just somebody from India. But they responded the way he responded. There are professors from big universities, from Harvard University, from Oxford University, these people use ResearchGate as a medium to, as a via medium to connect with researchers from India and other third world countries, because they also have this faculty exchange programs, and they also love to know about our culture and our, Sanskrit and all these things. So there are these opportunities. So create these accounts, and if anybody need any help regarding these things, I know this Jyoti Priya has this ResearchGate account, but because I am connected with her on ResearchGate. But you can, if anybody needs help, I have sent my email address and phone number on this chat itself. Somewhere I had posted, did I? Or is it gone? I think I had posted
Yes,
it. Yeah, it is there.
It's in the chat.
12:29 p.m. So you can contact me as well if you need any assistance with this. But these are the ways in which, these are the legitimate ways in which you can get connected. And we have a group actually. It is for English teachers only. I'm sorry, it will not be suitable for everyone. Because I am from English literature background, so I know only about English literature. But other teachers, you will know the groups, the WhatsApp groups and Telegram groups that are there, where teachers come together and share valuable information. So if you are interested, we can, literature, English teachers are most welcome to join our WhatsApp groups as well. So you just give me a message and I will add you to those groups as well. So there are, that is how we get to know. That is how we get to know, because only through collaboration and exchange of information. That is what I think. I spoke a long time, but I think I have spoken and I have given very little idea. Maybe because it is vague, but I guess I have given some idea. Yeah, yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, can I ask a question?
Definitely. Most welcome.
Yeah. Sir, from what I have gathered from you, basically research is a very personal and a very individual experience.
It can be. It can be. If you want
but
to
here
take it
in
like that.
TSWRDs is basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, an individual chooses his or her own topic and then proceeds to do research. So that should be the way a research should be conducted. On the other hand, however, here in TSWRDCs, we are doing a lot of student projects, as well as we have a journal club where students are asked to do write-ups on research articles. So considering that whatever they are doing does not come out of their own choice, and it is kind of being enforced upon them by an external situation, institution. So how can students think on their own? Like, how can they develop how to think about research? How can they address gaps? How can they think on their own?
Thank you very much for landing me in a soup. Because that is a difficult question. Difficult in the sense, I should tell the truth. The thing is, personally, if you ask my opinion, I don't think it is a great thing to do, to give topics to students and ask them to do projects on those topics. Instead, students should be given the freedom. That is what I personally think. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that is the most successful method. And sometimes what can also happen is that students may not feel comfortable choosing a topic on their own, and so the whole process may drag on. And maybe that is why the institution feels that it is better to give them topics and make them do those things. I don't know, but yeah, this is there in the world, right? We have democracy and we have systems like those present in China, where when you are born, you are told that you are going to be an athlete, you are going to be a gymnast. It doesn't matter whether I have the body becoming of a gymnast, but you are told that you are going to become a gymnast. So I have to become a gymnast. From my childhood, I have to do everything accordingly so that I will become a gymnast. Now, I don't know whether it is right or wrong, and I'm nobody to judge, but I told you my personal opinion. Now, if students if that is the given, if students don't have a choice, if a topic is thrust upon students, how students can develop their individual thinking? Well, my dear students, I can still tell you that even with a topic, even if you are given a very narrow topic, still you can be very creative about it, because that is the way we human beings are. We cannot avoid being creative. We can find out 1,000 different ways of looking at it. There are thousands and thousands of different ways of looking at the same topic. Even if you are given a terrible topic, I encouraged, when I was teaching, I used to encourage my students to do this. And so students did papers on why giving a topic and asking me to write on that topic is a very bad idea. So that is a topic. That also becomes a topic. And why am I not able to do research on this particular topic? That is a topic for research. We can have these meta topics as well. And you can use different angles to look at that topic. Suppose you are asked to, a literature student who likes to write a lot of literature and poetry, she is given a topic. She is given the topic she is given to write about is ozone depletion. Ozone depletion. Now the problem is ozone depletion is not a topic that this student is interested in. She doesn't know what ozone is. She doesn't know what ozone depletion is, and she is least bothered whether ozone is depleted or completed or exhausted. She's least bothered, but she is asked to do it. Now, what can this student do with this topic, ozone depletion? If this student is an artist, she can think about it in a very poetical way, and we can do it. We can think about the ecological dimensions, and ecology is about we can connect it with poetry, nature poetry, and then we can say so many things. There is this classical story of a student who was asked, who studied about the coconut tree. A student studied an essay on the coconut tree. It's a story in Kerala. A student studied an essay for the exam, and he studied an essay on the coconut tree. Unfortunately, the question for the essay was the cow. So what the student did was, because he has studied an essay on the coconut tree, he didn't study about the cow. So what the student did was, he began his essay like this: in my house there is a cow, and my mother tied the cow to a coconut tree. And then he wrote his essay on the coconut tree. So, there are different ways in which you can circumvent, you can overcome the rigid frameworks imposed on you, and you can do it very creatively, because we are all very creative people. You can write on ozone. If you are asked to write about death, you can say that life is so charming and beautiful that death has fallen in love with it. So you can make it love. You can make death about death you are asked to write, and you can speak about the love between life and death, and you are writing about love. If you are interested in love, you can do that. Or you are asked to write about fear, being terrible, and you can speak about how a terrible beauty is born. And then what are you doing? You are writing about beauty, but you are not moving away from the topic. So there are 10 different ways where you can make the topic suit you. Even if the topic is given to you and you are asked to do it only in a particular way, be creative. Think out of the box, and you will be able to find ways in which you can convert that topic to a topic of your interest. This is the very naughty advice that I can give you because of the question. Okay, thank you for the question.
Thank you, sir. If we have any more questions, we will take it up, or else we will wind it up.
When hunger strikes, questions stop.
Yes.
I am ZCO speaking, sir. Manohar, it was a very enlightening lecture, sir, and a very lucid way of explanation you have given. Very
Thank you,
nice
man.
to
Thank
hear.
you so much. Thank you so
So
much.
nice, but one defect is here is our education system itself is like this. It is not at all encouraging research, no orientation, research orientation or observation or scientific temper. Nothing is there in our education system. We are not at all introducing children to that. Therefore,
Yeah,
we want
but I
to
still think that
change this
students can do it on their
teaching
own.
slowly. We are going
Yeah,
for modular teaching as well as the research also, so that it cannot be born in one day or 1 hour. It must be a part of their character. Be a part of their character. They're part of their
exactly.
outlook. The way they
Yeah,
see each and everything, the way they observe things. Observation must be more. So these are the things we should cultivate in the students. Therefore, we are trying
brilliant.
best, but our teachers are also not knowing. That is the tragedy here. Teachers also are not in a position to take to the children. Therefore, still they are asking about the topics. Teachers are asking for topics for research. So that makes me annoyed. Anything is there in the world. Whatever you see, you can think over it and do it. So I want the teachers to change first and their outlook was teachers so they take everything to the students. At least I was asking them to select their own topic, involve the students in the topic, so that at least the data they can get from the students. In that way, we can introduce research to students, and the teachers can benefit from that. They can write her paper. Want to involve both the students as well as the teachers, but I think another session must be taken for teachers. That is the main drawback I'm finding here. I have given a lot of at least 500 topics. Usually in the meetings, I'll be giving all sorts of topics. Even then, they are not in a position to catch up. The whole college is going for 1 or 2 research projects. How can it be not
Madam,
knowing? I was telling
I will recommend you one thing. Don't give them topics.
yeah.
Don't give 500 topics.
Yeah,
Don't
we
give a
should
single
not.
topic.
But no. The outreach, how to reach, how to start the thing on research. I was asking them to orient themselves. A few topics I was giving wherever they are. They can go for water bodies or banking system in their village. How many castes are there? Population like that. I was hinting them. Even then, they are not in a position to catch up, but I think we need more number of orientations for teachers first. Then they themselves can involve students. I think. So once again, I request you to have one session for exclusively for teaching community on this
Definitely, ma'am. Whatever
research
you say,
orientation.
it is my pleasure to
Would
be
at least
associated with.
change the uh, climate in the social welfare. Yeah.
I just hope that the teachers have the freedom and the time, because I don't know about yours, the system there, but mostly I hear that teachers have a lot of problem with managing things, time management, because things, especially these days, because things are online and teachers have to manage a lot of things with health issues and all. I don't know whether that is one reason. I don't know about the system there, but I guess when they have time and
That is
when
there.
there is.
Yeah, challenges will be there in our life always. Every time we cannot say that from the starting to end we'll be going in this manner. No. Day to day we must change, and if we are changing only, we can stay in that field. So if we cease to change, we cannot continue in that course. That must be an inherent one. When challenges are there, they can enjoy their life. Without challenges, no enjoyment also.
Yeah,
So
true. That's
they
all.
should do the job with passion. When people do things with passion, they themselves will come out with innovative ideas. I expect ideas to come from them, not from us. We cannot trust these things on them. But still, we are unable to get ideas from the people like this. So, where we are going wrong, I'm not knowing. I think I should do research on this. So,
Yeah, exactly.
that would be a why we are unable to connect? Why, in spite of explaining all these things, why we are unable to connect with the people? We must be a big question mark in India, not only in social welfare, in the whole of our country is the main thing. They only mug up and then vomit. That's all. No extension or work, no creativity, no additions, no deletions, nothing. Whatever is said, they do. They are very loyal. Indians are very loyal, too much loyal. So whatever is said, they'll be doing. Therefore, research orientation is lacking, I believe. Yeah, slowly we should cultivate, and we require your help also in this aspect. How to change our syllabus, how to at least the methodology of teaching. That way, I request you to keep in touch with us so that we'll start doing something which others. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I'm very happy. So the first lecture, I have listened to complete session. Thank you very much. Since it was a very important topic, I wanted to hear your whole lecture.
Oh, ma'am, you were there. That's a big pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for staying till the end.
Yeah.
Actually, it was really unexpected, and thank you so much.
Thank you. No, it was very interesting also. Very simple examples you were taking and explaining. I hope students could get the point. They would immediately implement the things what you said. I expect all the teachers to see some pushed towards this side. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much once again on behalf of.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was so nice of you.
Yeah. Thank you.
With this, we have come to the end of the webinar. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you who have attended this webinar. First of all, I would like to deeply express my gratitude to Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar Sir, IPS Secretary, TSVERIES and TT Race, for giving us an opportunity to strengthen our student and teaching communities. Thank you, sir. I express equal gratitude to Dr. Praveen Mamidala Sir, Joint Secretary and Head of Higher Education Department, TSVERIES, for his constant support and for motivating us to do various activities. Thank you, sir. I thank Dr. P. Bhanuprasad sir, OSD, TSWRDCs for encouraging all of us. I owe my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Rajani Paspuleti Madam, Zonal Coordinator South, TSWRDCs, for touching the chord with all our teachers and students and encouraging them to do various activities. I mean, ma'am, you have always motivated us for a very long time. And thank you so much. I deeply express my sincere gratitude to Manu sir for enlightening all our students and teachers with his valuable lecture and accepting our invitation to be our speaker. Thank you so much, sir. My heartfelt thanks to our beloved Principal A. Himabindu ma'am for encouraging us to do this webinar. Without you, ma'am, it would be really difficult to do this webinar. Thank you so much. I thank all faculty members of TSWRDC family, teachers, lecturers, scholars, my dear colleagues, and students for participating in the webinar. I thank from the bottom of my heart to all the organizers for their selfless efforts in conducting this program successfully. Without your support, this webinar would not be possible. I thank all the students and teachers for attending this webinar. Before leaving, I would request one and all to fill the feedback form that is available in the chat box and in other places. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So I think I can leave. Thank you so much for your patient listening.
Thank
It
you
was
so
very
much, sir.
nice being with you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.